Hi, I'm Wendy from shinyhappyworld.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make this cute vulture applique pattern. Okay, this is a video showing you how to assemble the vulture block if you are not using a light box. So I've got all of the pieces cut out and on the solid lines, and all of the dotted lines I have transferred over to the fabric side of each piece. Those are placement guides that are going to show me where everything gets positioned. So we're going to start with the shoulder piece, and I am doing this guy what I call snapshot style. So it is like, imagine that I've taken a photo of a vulture and I've zoomed way in on his face. So he has a body, it's just not showing in the photo because it's cropped out of it. And so to get that look, I am going to position the straight edge at the bottom of this piece with the bottom edge of the block. And this is not showing very well. This is, my batting doesn't go all the way to the edge, so I am lining this up actually with where my batting ends. So when I've got this block all finished and outlined and everything, I'm going to trim it down to 10.5 inches, and then when I sew it together, I will catch that bottom edge in the seam allowance, and the finished block is going to be 10 inches square. So next up, we're going to tuck his neck behind his body, right where this ruff is going to cover it. They don't all have a ruff around their neck. There's so many different kinds of vultures I've discovered, but I really like the look of it, so that is included in the pattern. Now we're going to do that ruff. And you just want to position it in place so that all of your marking lines are covered. So none of those chalk lines or pencil lines are going to show up, and that just makes a really nice transition between those two pieces. So let's go ahead and put I'm going to put the bottom part of the beak on first. So this is actually going to sit on top of his head, which is a little unusual for a lot of my patterns. Usually a smaller piece would be tucked underneath. But on this one, see how it makes kind of a J shape? You want the bottom edge of the curve of his head to kind of come right into the middle of that J. And then we're going to take this top hooked part and that is going to overlap that line. And I want these edges, I want this bit here to be like one continuous line. So I don't want that to scooch past it and make this kind of jagged edge. I want this to be almost like this is making a single angle. And then I bumped this out of place with my sleeves. That's okay. All right, and now he just has his eye to put in. So the beak is a little bit fussy how you position it, but really this is not very many pieces, and it goes together pretty easily. So we have one giant bird eyeball, and there we go. So I'm going to carefully lift this up, carry it over to my ironing board, and fuse everything in place. And then I'm going to do all of the outline stitching, and then I'll bring it back here and show you the finished block and also 2 other versions that I made using different colors. All right, there is the finished vulture. So I did this one in shades of brown. Vultures mostly come in shades of brown and shades of gray. I'm going to show you a couple of other versions that I made though. So this one, shades of brown, the head is almost always lighter than the rest of the body. And this little ruff of feathers around their neck can be either darker or lighter depending on what kind of vulture it is. So here is one that I made to look like a California condor, and this is for an endangered animals quilt that I am working on, an endangered animals bundle of patterns. So they have that very pink head and beak, and then the very dark black ruff of feathers around their neck, and their body is usually actually a little darker than this, but I wanted more contrast in there. And then I did one more version. This one is for a safari bundle that I'm working on, and it is in all different shades of gray, which there are a few different African vultures that are shades of gray like this, where the beak is usually a darker gray or black, but that ruff of feathers can be white, and the head can be gray or almost white, can be very light colored. So 3 different versions of the vulture pattern. You can get that pattern at shinyhappyworld.com. I'm Wendy, and I will see you next time.